Quantum Harry is about the overarching theme of Harry Potter. On one side, there's a villain who disregards children and things linked to childhood, like toys, games, sweets, and fairy tales. And on the other, you've got a hero who is a child, really, and who triumphs over evil by using things related to childhood. There are 3 parts to Quantum Harry. First, I look at the game pieces, the archetypes ruling each book. Then the way that toys, games, and fairy tales shape the narrative of each book. Then I look at how the symbols of the Tarot Major Arcana, cards created to play games, illuminate the links between a Horcrux and a DA teacher for each book, and the obstacles to the Philosopher's Stone. My fanfiction is separate from Quantum Harry. A lot of theories I once had about what might happen do appear in the Psychic Serpent trilogy and the prequel, like Snape being motivated by his love of Lily, Harry and Ginny getting together, or even Hagrid bringing a relative of his to live in the Forbidden Forest. But Quantum Harry rarely overlaps with elements from my stories. The podcast is more about looking at the complete 7 Harry Potter books, not trying to predict things in just the final 3, since we didn't have those when I wrote Psychic Serpent. And a lot of what I wrote wasn't even about predictions. I was just trying to tell a story and have fun doing it. I was involved with the Harry Potter for Grown-Ups Yahoo group, and some folks in leadership roles in the group asked me to join the board of HPEF, a 501c3 educational organization created to hold Harry Potter symposia. I'd already served for 6 years on the board of a 501c3 called the Interfaith Working Group, which educated media and the general public about people of faith supporting equal rights for sexual minorities, reproductive freedom, and separation of church and state. The confluence of being involved in both groups is probably what led to my first paper, Metaphorical Queerness in the Harry Potter Books. After I presented it in Salem, Massachusetts in 2005, Bay Windows, the Boston area LGBTQ newspaper, interviewed me about it, and years later, after J.K. Rowling outed Dumbledore, the same reporter tracked me down at my job and interviewed me about that. Large parts of this paper are preserved in Chapter 7 of the book, Quantum Harry, and it's the focus of episodes of 8 and 9 of the podcast. At later symposia, I presented papers on the female archetypes in Harry Potter, the Maiden, Mother, and Crone, which took me back to my days as a classics major in college. Then the male archetypes, Quidditch metaphors in the books, and how a fairy tale shapes Chamber of Secrets, among many other paper topics. At one point, I realized that I'd been writing around the unifying thread tying the books together for a while without realizing it, and that's the moment that Quantum Harry was really born. I'd like Quantum Harry to open people's eyes to things I don't think others have necessarily noticed in the books. Whether it's particular symbolism and metaphors, or the reason Harry's rescued by a deus ex machina at the end of the first 2 books, but not after that, or why he wins his first Quidditch match by catching the snitch in his mouth. I often see other fans call things in the plot random or call things plot holes, but I think my unified theory of the Potterverse shows that there's really very little randomness in the books. Quite simply, I want to change the way people read Harry Potter.